Greetings, viewers. I am here today to discuss a matter of no real significance or importance, but something that some of you will no doubt waste almost as much time listening to as I did recording. As you can no doubt tell by the image accompanying these words, I am speaking of this group that calls themselves Anonymous. Perhaps you believe you are part of it. If you do, then I'm afraid I must inform you that you cannot be farther from the truth. You are not part of Anonymous because Anonymous is not a group. It is a concept. Allow me to elaborate. Anonymous. Adjective. Not named or identified. Of unknown authorship or origin. Lacking individuality, distinction, or recognizability. Anonymous is not something you are a part of. It is something you simply are. It is a state of being, a state that many of those who call themselves anonymous can never, in 100 years, hope to understand. Why is that? Well, just look at how they use the word. They label themselves with it, fly its banner high over them, and mimic the behaviors they believe will make them accepted by the other children. They make it their identity. They cannot understand what it is to be without identity, to be unknown, unrecognized, unloved yet unhated, not a part of society, yet completely entrenched in society, to never be spoken, but always be heard. Anon is the one who writes his friends' phone numbers on bathroom walls. Anon is the one that drops his sperm-encrusted clothes into the clothing drive bin. Anon came up with the idea of Goatsy. Anon is the guy without ED who likes to try Viagra anyway. Anon is the reason you keep getting signed up for your local gay community newsletter. Anon is the guy that calls suicide hotline to hit on the operator. Anon is ready to nuke his hard drive at any moment. Anon leaves used condoms outside the schoolyard. Anon will hire a hooker to eat his ass and only that. Anon is still in the hospital for falling down a flight of stairs after trying something he saw in a hentai. Anon is every urge you repress out of fear of the consequences, and every insightful thought you withheld because it was controversial. Anon is also every step you've taken to help your fellow man without expecting reward or recognition. Anon is knowing that your actions cannot be traced back to you, like shamelessly stealing quotes from other Anon. Anon is the absence of identity, the willingness to do something great, whether for good or ill, knowing that you will never receive credit for it. And there are two simple rules that are inherent to and inseparable from the very concept of Anonymous. Do not talk about Anonymous, and do not talk about Anonymous. It's really very simple. The moment you tell somebody about something you have done, something you are a part of, anything about you, it is no longer anonymous. Those who say these rules apply only to raids are the very same people who came up with the idea of raids, using the feelings of security granted by Anonymous to take up arms for some petty cause. Internet tough guys that cannot leave their identities behind and seek to use what they perceive as invulnerability to attack someone that is a threat to their pathetic little existence. Without a doubt, they will tell all their friends about their meaningless antics the very next day, seeking praise and admiration, recognition, the exact opposite of Anonymous. In fact, the rules, of which you all know there are far more than two, do not govern Anonymous, but rather define Anonymous. They are not guidelines for how Anonymous should behave, but rather observations on how any real Anonymous already behaves. At its core, Anonymous is human nature. Anonymous is the relentless pursuit of instant gratification without the slightest concern for others. But Anonymous is also the selfless desire to push along the human race without any need to be thanked or rewarded. Every person that has ever donated to charity, called in a tip, given a gift, or stopped to pick up some litter anonymously is also just another person trying to get a little private satisfaction. So then, what is this group that calls themselves Anonymous? As I said, just a bunch of kids trying to be cool. Rebelliant teens that are too immature to understand that rebelling, simply for the sake of rebelling, is even more pathetic than their sheepish peers. At least they understand the system and are working to improve themselves, while you spin your wheels in a meaningless display of testosterone. If you're going to rebel, then do it for something other than attention. Putting on masks and blaring Rick Astley at pyramid schemers accomplishes nothing unless your goal is to become a laughingstock. Did you really believe you would make a difference? Did you really think what you're doing is funny? It's pathetic. Pathetic. Adjective. having a capacity to move one to either compassionate or contemptuous pity, marked by sorrow or melancholy, pitifully inferior or inadequate, absurd, laughable. I wouldn't even bother addressing you, but I've begun to lose some of my favorite congregations because of your Me Tooism. I won't pretend to serve a higher cause, or be some internet tough guy. I admit that I'm only producing this video because you've made it hard for me and others like me to get my lulz. Now would you kindly grow up?